the scene of the crime. Reservations are down. A bunch of the staff is quit. We felt like zoo animals in there. People were harassing servers, coming in there with a vengeance.
Tuesday night.
One of the last things I said to Tom, I was like, after the hell you put me through.
The TV is a little loud. I was going to do a Vanderpump Rules watch along, but I can't do that. The TV's too distracting. But we can talk about the new season of Vanderpump Rules if you would like. We can talk pro wrestling. We can talk more Vince McMahon allegations. We can talk about the Dabbleverse, but that'll cost you $30. I've tried to overprice it. So I hope you guys are doing well. We're hot off the heels of our Sunday night stream, the most popular stream in the Earlverse history. So I appreciate that. I know that's why that AC/DC. That's why I've priced it at $30. I watched a little bit of it today, and it was just like, my God, this is out of control. I mean, sniping and bickering, and I'd rather do like a nice hour stream tonight, keep it real, just have a good time, be positive. Sunday night was fun for me. So Earl is live. I am slightly engorged, out of control. Thank you, Dr. Nova. I think I appreciate that. We're just trying to find our lane still in the Earl Skakel Earlverse. Let me tweet out the Earlverse is live. I'm just trying to give you guys a good show. I'm going to the Apple Store tomorrow. Let me turn the lights on. Sorry. This isn't the most exciting stream, but it will be. I have such bad vision that I have to, it's hard for me to do two things at one time, like type. Right, promote it there. Bam. I love Pat. Let me, I'm going to message Pat right now. It's unprofessional for me. Hold on here. Probably should have done this before I started the scene. Our stream. This is what happens when you don't have an assistant. Hello, Daddy Man. Oh, thank you, Ross. I'm glad you enjoyed last night, the Death by Fame episode of my friend Loredana. What can you do? It was a sad story, and I miss her a lot. Everyone in chat would have loved her. I mean, any girl that hung out with the Ultimate Warrior and lived to tell about it is pretty cool. Days. Interesting. I did not know that, Jordan. Interesting. Why don't I have a Pixies shirt? I don't really like them, but I don't dislike them either. I forgot got my microphone. The sound okay, everyone? I like to make sure that the sound quality is top notch. Let me double check the sound quality here. All right, we got the sound. Sound is good. Oh no, it's not like I said. I think I saw them open up for Weezer, if I'm not mistaken. So they had a girl bass player, I think. I went with Adam Egget. I think the rule was you have to watch Weezer and I have to watch the Pixies. I believe it was at the Forum. Have you guys been hearing me the whole show? Let me know. Someone say yes, no. I believe everything is hooked up as good as it can be. Okay, good. Thank you, Dr. Nova. Sam Adams, yes, no. Okay, all right. I'm not sure what that means, Sam Adams. It was a serious question for once. Okay, good. I'm still trying to figure out the settings of this new mic, but I believe I have figured it out. I'm not a high tech man like most of the people in the dabble world, Dabbleverse. So, yeah, those Vince McMahon allegations just out of control. I mean, I would imagine he would do AEW. I would guess he would be in AEW by London. Um, yes, Dr. Nova. But specific Predator quotes, that's $5 and up. No, I'm just kidding. Cobra quotes, $2 and up. I mean, it's really not mind blowing, to be honest with you. I mean, if you look back, I mean, Vince McMahon has been accused, either he or the WWE / WWF. Jay Santos, $4.99. You didn't have to pay for that question, but I appreciate it. Is that a Billy Hicks piece of art behind you below the Earl light? No, that is. If you watch Roast Battle, which I hope you guys don't, but my friend Joe Earl, he's one of the elite battlers, if there are such a thing. He's in the wheelchair, my friend Joe. He did a half Earl, half Berry Jelly poster. And he's really, really talented. And if you know who Joe is, he he's pretty fucked up, to be honest with you. In a wheelchair, and like his he has full use of his arms, but it's hard. And so the fact that he did that, it's pretty amazing. So if you need art, I recommend Joe Earl. You can I think his Instagram handle is JOEEURELL. There might be a 1 at the end of the name, but his art's really good. I mean, so let's see, better Schwarzenegger movie, Commando or Red Heat? I like Commando much better. Red Heat, very good. Who reminds? That looks like Zach Amico. Yeah, a little bit. I wish I could show you the painting of the jellies Chandler bought me. She paid someone to do an oil painting. I'll take a picture later and put it on my Twitter. I mean, I would say my top 3. Hold on, let me get something to drink. I'm a little parched. I just took yoga. Um, I would say Predator #1, Terminator, and Raw Deal. Raw Deal's a dark horse. I don't mean a black horse. Pew! But I really, because Raw Deal was just a movie kind of thrown together. I forget the story. I think he was trying to get out of some contract to do True Lies, and I believe Dino De Laurentiis um, said, "You make Raw Deal, and you can get out of the contract to do True Lies." It's very similar to, I believe, when Roy Scheider was filming or about to film Deer Hunter. He wanted to get out of some contract, and the studio said, "Make Jaws 2 and you can get out of the contract." So he actually passed. I don't know. Someone said he shot like a week of Deer Hunter. He had the De Niro part, and I could have seen him in that. Roy Scheider, one of the great kind of combo lead slash character actors, and he left Deer Hunter to do Jaws 2, which woo. I mean, I like Jaws too because I had a crush on Donna Wilkes. Do you think OJ planned to kill Arnold for stealing Terminator away from him? Well, Jordan, that might be inside a basey ball to most of the chat, but as Jordan mentioned, OJ Simpson was there was 2 people ahead of Arnold Schwarzenegger in for the role of Terminator, and there are some early photos of the great Lance Henriksen. He was the original Terminator, and there's photos of him in the outfits, but he just didn't look intimidating enough. Of course, if you know anything about the movie Terminator, you'll realize that Lance played one of the cops in the station. And then O.J. Simpson. And it's on, I think, a DVD where the casting director said, "I didn't find him believable as a killer." How wrong she was. Are you gay, Dr. Nova? Good for you, man. We take all kinds in here. Gay, straight, trans. It's an open forum in here. Yeah, I mean, she, you know, when I saw that movie Angel that she was in, where she played a high school student by day, hooker by night, I was like, this girl's a star. Like she wasn't like supermodel pretty, but like you said, um, just that rebel, that very cute, kind of in that Jenny Wright mode where, like, if you look at a prime Jenny Wright, um, she wasn't necessarily supermodel pretty, but she was like pretty and really cute. Good afternoon, good evening, Brittany G. Um, yeah, Raw. Well, a lot of people. Brian Thompson would have been a good Terminator. I don't think he was a big enough name. Not that Schwarzenegger was in 80. What was Terminator? 83, 84, maybe. No, Commando was 83, so 84. Um, but yeah, that's. I'd rather. I hope you're talking about Ross Incognito and not Jeff Ross, but I have a feeling you're trying to stir the pot. Yes, I would have liked to. I guess you couldn't have him play the evil Terminator in Terminator 2. because he was killed in the first, I think, 5 minutes of Terminator. But, you could have. I mean, I don't think too many people would have cared. I mean, in the TV show Miami Vice, the great character actor Ned Eisenberg, he played 3 different characters. And I believe Martin Ferrero, if you watch Miami Vice, who played Izzy, he played 2 different characters. I think Dennis Farina played 2 different characters on Miami Vice. So, I can't answer that, Jordan. I like my spots at the Comedy Store. Um, so, uh, I'm on a gag order. You think Taylor Swift's dating a gay guy? I don't think Travis Kelce's gay, but he is a tight end. Hello. Pew. Um, I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, I think Kevin Peter Hall was really. I mean, you did need a big person to play the Predator. Um, I can't. I mean, I guess you could have gotten an NBA player like Artis Gilmore or something. Who was probably, yeah, he was retired in, I think, '87. Orlando Woolridge would have been great in the suit. I worked out with Orlando Woolridge once. I mean, he had the greatest body I've ever seen in person. Um, like just his body, he had the body of like a horse. Like it was so perfectly shaped, and but he wasn't that strong. Like I put on 225. This is when I was like at my strongest, and I did it like 10 times. He couldn't do it once. But he just I don't know, it was weird. Like he just had this beautiful body. And he's like, "You a strong motherfucker." I said, "You got it, Holmes." Then I walked off. I don't think Tex Cobb was. I mean, Tex Cobb was a big guy, but I think to play the Predator, I think you needed him to be bigger than the cast. I mean, Bill Duke is a big guy. Sonny Landham was a big guy. Um, who else? Carl Weathers isn't small, so you needed a guy at least 6'8". Um, I would have loved to have seen Van Damme's take on it. I mean, he had the gig until he got injured. Yeah, but I was just surprised, Jay, that I mean, if you would have looked at Orlando Woolridge in person, like his body was just like sculpted. He literally had the body of a statue. Ralph Molina, I don't know who that is. Are you trying to say Ralph Moeller, the bodybuilder? He would have been a good Predator, but I think Kevin Peter Hall was pretty nimble. I mean, Richard Keel was probably too old at that point. Jack O'Halloran, who played Nam in Superman 2, inappropriate Earl guest, by the way. Um, he was probably a little too old at that juncture. Reb Brown was probably too old. So, yes, Brackus, I believe, was Ralph Mueller, if I'm not mistaken, the bodybuilder. I used to be really into bodybuilding. So at that time frame, and he was also in Universal Soldier. Um, I'm trying. I mean, you could have gotten I mean, you needed a really tall bodybuilder, and the only super tall bodybuilders, and I mean, Predator was in '87, released in '88, so they filmed it in '87, late '87. And I only know that because my sister was Carl Weathers' assistant. And I've told this story before, but I remember she came home once on a Friday night. And it's so weird that you can remember something that specifically. And she's like, "Yeah, Carl's doing this movie. I don't know. It's about this military SEAL team in the jungle, and you don't really see the bad guy until the end of the movie, and he hides out in the trees. He's like a lizard." I'm like, this movie sounds awful, and it's probably my favorite movie. Oh, I thought it was a okay. Well, then it was probably filmed in early '87. Then, thank you, Lenny. See, I don't mind when people correct me. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could have gotten a pro wrestler. Big John Studd would, he was probably a little old in '87. I mean, Andre the Giant. There's no way he could have. I mean, he would have died of a heart attack because it was very hot. I mean, remember my sister saying Carl was complaining how hot it is. Um, I don't know if Van Dam could shred Chuck Zito. Um, I'm trying to think what other wrestlers. I mean, the Ultimate Warrior was too short. I mean, he was like my height, 6 feet, but the whole cast was 6 feet. You really needed a guy 6'7", 6'8". Um, I mean, maybe the guy who played the pimp's bodyguard in Bachelor Party, but he was probably too slow. Oh yeah, I mean Hollywood still needs big guys. Well, he is a predator. Pew! What up? What up? Is that a new SC bid show? Are you a newbie into the Earlverse world? Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. I do realize not Ray, Pat Dixon is live now as well. I'm not trying to compete with Pat. This is the only time I could do it tonight. Yes, welcome all new people. We're just having a good chat for about an hour, hot on the heels of our record-breaking stream Sunday night, the flagship show of the Earlverse. Thank you again to everyone. That's a different movie, Sheriff Numbskull, who I believe you are a new person in chat. I'm seeing some new names in here. Well, I mean, Vince will probably be dead by the time someone can say that's my grandpa. Um, I mean, Vince is just like I don't even know how to wrap my head around those things, and that's what we know. Can you imagine the shit that got, um, you know, hidden in the '80s? Like all the shenanigans that I mean, going back to that Phil Donahue episode, I think it was like 84, 85, maybe, where the good-looking ring announcer was accusing. I think it was he kind of was hinting it was Pat Patterson. And so Vince and the WWF/WWE have been being accused of sexual I don't want to say assault, but Me Too type stuff for what is that, 40 years? So you know, and you could, if you want to know what Vince's defense is going to be with this girl, Miss Grant, just Google or YouTube, Vince McMahon, Phil Donahue, and you're going to see he's going to use the same defense he did 40 years ago, where he basically on TV said to that guy, "You were never good enough to be an announcer for my company." Blah blah blah, and he's going to say about this girl, "You're just mad I didn't hire you to do the job I told you I was going to hire you for. You were never good enough." I mean, it's going to be literally the same defense. So, and this is what happens when a guy's cheap. He literally paid her he's supposed to pay her $3 million for the NDA. He pays her the first $1 million. It probably was like, fuck this bitch. And then now, I mean, his life is ruined because of $2 million. And he's worth probably, I mean, he's like Trump. You never really know how much he's actually worth, but, it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. Yeah, I mean, Herb Abrams, UWF or UHF, he was out of control. I remember those shows on some weird, I think it was the same channel Wally George was on, KDOC, which is like a really independent channel in California. Yeah, I mean, I know who was it? The Great Khalees, supposedly a great guy. Giant Gonzalez. He might have been a good guy to play the Predator. I mean, that would have been a very good Predator, actually. Now that I think about it, I think Giant Gonzalez was legit 7'6". He was probably 300 pounds, but on a 7'6" body, he looked relatively skinny. SC, I'm just going to call you SCV. Of course they know. I mean, it's like in comedy, everyone knows who the fucking perverts are, but they're just too juiced in to do anything about it. I mean, if I were Dark Side of the Ring, I would get a emergency episode out, and I don't know what the first episode. I think it's first week of March it airs. I think I saw a commercial for it or something on YouTube. I would do an emergency because if they wait till season 6, it's just no one's going to care. But right now, it's hot. Yeah, I mean, I've had problems with Callan with my last 2 girlfriends at the Comedy Store. So, I mean, but does that mean he's guilty of whatever he was accused of? You got to make your own decision there. I would say my top favorite Wally George guest by far and away, it's not even close, was the drag queen Gypsy. And if you look up Wally George Gypsy, this guy was so fucking funny. Like, as soon as he walked out on stage, the whole crowd starts yelling, "Homo, homo, homo," and Gypsy was giving it back. And by the end of the episode, he had the crowd turning against Wally. It's really funny. He had the best line when Wally was making fun of his suit. And he's like, "It's one thing to be a target. It's another thing to shop there, Wally." Like, totally slamming Wally's outfit. I mean, well, the problem is, WWE probably had their mitts in it. And now that they're in bed with WWE, they're not going to put out a documentary shitting on Vince. Amazon should do all right, fuck you guys. But the problem with an anti-Vince documentary is you're not going to get the WWE footage. So Ben Bones Jones in the house. It's like that, what was it, the HBO documentary on Andre the Giant? I think the WWE had their hands in that, but it was just like, it was a little, they didn't really dive deep into how shitty they treated Andre toward the end of his life. As soon as his body was giving out on him, "Hey, thanks for carrying the company the last 15 years. Beat it. We got this new guy named Hulk Hogan." Now that Hulk Hogan's had 2 hip replacements and God knows whatever other surgeries he's had, no one's touching him. Hey, Hulk, thanks for not only carrying WWF to the wrestling ether of the top, I mean, Hulk Hogan was the reason WWF was so fucking popular. And probably the reason WCW beat WWE for 83 weeks was because of Hogan and the NWO, and now he probably can't get any company to pay for him because he can barely walk. Yeah, Bret Hart's documentary was pretty real. I mean, rank the Predator franchise. I mean, Lenny, that's pretty easy. There's the first one, and then the others. I mean, the only other one I like, and I've seen them all. I watched that thing on, was it Hulu 2 years ago? There was the prequel. That sucked. I like Predator, obviously. The first Predator versus Aliens. What was it called? Requiem? No, I think it was just Predator versus Alien. It's one of my favorite endings of any action movie, where they show the dead Predator on the Predator spaceship, and then when you think the end credits are going to start rolling, the alien pops out of the stomach. That was very well done. And plus, they had Lance Henriksen in it. So I mean, I would disagree with that. I would say Predator, Alien versus Predator, Predator 2, and then the others, it doesn't really matter. Would you rather go for dinner with Earl, Vince, OJ, or the Menendez brothers? Vince, because I'd love to ask him, like, he strikes me as the type of guy, if you had a dinner with him one-on-one with nothing being recorded, he'd like I'd be like, "Hey, did Ultimate Warrior really hold you up for money right before he walked out of the curtain? Like, what was going through your mind? And why wasn't Sid bigger? You know, he should have Sid. I mean, people forget how fucking massive Sid was. He should have been a lot bigger. Um, well, I understand they needed a new star, Jay, but it was just like, God damn, man. I mean, don't throw the guy away like he's spoiled fruit. Um, yeah, I'm gonna watch the Vanderpump show as soon as I'm done. I watched about 15 minutes of it. It wasn't great, but it is the first episode. That's the problem, though, with the show like Vanderpump Rules is they've all fucked each other, so it's not really that interesting to me. But apparently, Tom Schwartz has a new girl, so like I'm sure she's the new hoe, and you know, good for you, Rebel. Good for you. Oh yeah, that's a tough one to. I think that was against Scott Steiner. But he shoulda never have done the fucking I've never seen Sid on the top rope, or he wasn't on the top rope, he was on the middle rope. You know, like, why would you take a guy who's so top heavy and the amount of stress that your leg is under when you jump from the middle rope, you know, you're guaranteeing something bad's gonna happen. Um, I do like, if you wanna see a good Sid clip, look up the Skyscrapers Sid, I mean, I don't know what you would look it up under YouTube. The Skyscrapers beat up jobbers. And it's pretty wild because the Skyscrapers were Sid and Danny Spivey, who I didn't know was a fucking legit badass. Like, you know, you often hear Haku's the toughest, but usually ranked number 2 was Danny Spivey, who was like a legit tough guy. And they're doing this match against these 2 jobbers, and the one jobber, I guess it was his hometown, Blackwell, I think was his name. Um, and he wasn't selling for Sid. So finally they start shooting on him and Spivey, and I think Teddy Long was their manager, and you hear Teddy Long saying, "Beat the shit out of him." And like they start throwing down on this guy, man, and like it was pretty rough. And apparently they beat him up even worse backstage. But this was like the mid 80s. So like the fact that this guy had the balls to like, "Hey, I'm gonna show up Sid and Spivey." But that would be pretty cool, Jordan. I mean, they gotta do something wacky. But I think it was you, Jordan, that said the Kingdom should cost Sting the match. They need to get some heat. Because right now only Roderick Strong's over. But that's typical AEW. They don't really think long term. I mean, the execution of the Devil storyline was pretty good. And then the 2 main people in the storyline, MJF and Cole, are hurt. So now you're relying on Roderick Strong and the Kingdom. And then Wardlow's not, he doesn't even come out with them anymore. So it's like, it gets bailing on the idea already. I mean, I don't know if I would say that, CB. And Ben, you're right. He wasn't the greatest in terms of his promos, but you know, Sid was a lot like the Ultimate Warrior from the standpoint of his promos were so bad they were good. Like we all remember Sid, I think he was talking to Kevin Nash. He was supposed to say, "I'm not half you're not half the man I am," but he botched it and said, "I don't have half the brains you have." It's like, what? But if you notice in the what was it? What was the guy who fell the skyscraper? No, I'm trying to complete blank. What was the guy with the he fell through the wall? Um Fuck, how am I the botched it was Sid Sting, not the Shockmaster. Thank you. I, I, I don't know what's going on. Uh, if you watch the Shockmaster thing, Sid was the only one who kept it together. Like, so, and then of course my favorite Sid promo is I don't know if I think I had Skyscraper in my mind. Is when he debuted at Horseman and he's like, RoboCop, I'm 6'9", 320 pounds. I am the real Man of Steel in the NWA, so you better learn to like it. And then about a minute later, Flair goes, and Sid, who's 6'10", 350 pounds, and you could see Sid going like, oh fuck, he just made me taller and bigger, and you could tell there was like confusion on how Sid should proceed. Um, and it's just funny because you see a pretty drunk Barry Windham, uh, you know, Arn Anderson's talking about in Washington, the murder capital of the world. Like it's like, oh, that's and Flair was on the powder, the booze. He's like, Sting, I don't care if you're 5 years old or 50 years old. We're going to break your leg again. Think about that, Sting. Um, well, I mean, yeah, some of those guys were legit badasses. I mean, Paul Orndorff was a legit fucking football star. Not that being a football star makes you a tough guy, but I think Vader was a bully, and you know, the worst thing for a bully is when someone's not afraid of you. Like, oh fuck, I can't, I can't intimidate this guy. So, I mean, I would say the top probably 5 actual tough guys. Like, forget wrestling's not exactly real. I'm saying absolutely Haku is always mentioned number 1. Danny Spivey, Bart Gunn, Steve Blackman was like a legit badass. And then, I mean, oh boy, I mean, I would say the Road Warriors. I mean, the Road Warriors probably, I would guess, in a fight. I mean, I wouldn't want to fight either one in their heyday, but I mean, they were muscular and they were probably pretty strong, but I think a skilled fighter could probably beat them pretty easily. Um, but who knows? I mean, Andre the Giant, yeah. I mean, I don't know how you could hurt him. I mean, yeah, and some of those guys in the '60s and '70s, like Harley Race, Buzz Sawyer. I've been watching some of his Butch Reed. I mean, Tony Atlas is kind of in that Road Warriors thing. I wouldn't want to fight Tony Atlas, but he might have been more muscle than strength. Um, Big John Studd. Look, that's not a guy I'd like to see pissed. Blackjack Mulligan. I mean, Bad News Brown was a legit judo champion. I think he was a bronze medalist in the '76 Olympics, if I'm not mistaken. Um, well, I like my favorite Andre Dudu story is, obviously he was very popular in Japan, but that means he had to fly over there, and I'd never been, but I I believe from LAX anyway, from where I am, and Japan's like a 16-hour flight. So you got to figure at some point Andre's going to have to take a shit. So I think they said that he would literally go in the back of coach and just take a dump in a bucket. Which, yeah, all right, that makes sense. There's no way Andre the Giant's going to fit into a fucking regular airplane bathroom. But, he takes the dump. That you can't open the door and throw the shit out. I mean, say if he took a dump about 8 hours into the flight, can you imagine sitting in the back of coach with that neck? Oh my God. Um, yeah, I mean, Vern Gagne, it's a tough, he's not like a giant guy, but sometimes you don't have to be that giant. Uh, take a guy like another guy who I would guess would be pretty tough. Mark Marrow, not the most gigantic guy, but I could see him being able to handle himself for I'm trying to think I mean in today's world, I mean you don't really have who's the toughest guy in wrestling today, but I mean hell when Rocky Romero gave me the chest slap on the Comedy Store Wrestling podcast, that shit hurt, man. My chest was bruised for 3 days, and he held back. Um, yeah, I mean, Axe or Smash and Demolition. I mean, those aren't guys I'd want to fight. Nikita Koloff. In his heyday. That's not someone I'd want to fight. Um, I mean, Dusty Rhodes, like probably fucking out of shape, but in the first 5 minutes, what are you gonna do with that? Like he could just sit on you. Um, and Rick Rude was a pretty tough guy from what I have, from what I've understood. You look at some of those guys in world class championship wrestling, like Iceman King Parsons. I wouldn't want to fucking fight that guy. Colonel De Beers, he wasn't like a giant, but he looked like you probably couldn't hurt him. Obviously the Von Erichs. I mean, well, it's funny. After the show was done, Rocky was like, "Hey, you took it pretty good, Earl, but you're lucky Will Ospreay didn't do it." I'm like, "Why? He's not that big." And he's like, "Yeah, but he's got perfect technique." And he was showing me like most people, chest slap like that, so their backhand hits your chest. Apparently, Will Ospreay does it the opposite, where he starts off like this, but then he turns it. So I guess the front of his hand, his palm basically hits your chest. So, I mean, I would guess today's toughest guys I mean, JD Drake. I mean, he's a big, big dude. Lance Archer, I wouldn't want to see him pissed. I mean, not the great Khali, but, Satnam Singh, I mean, he's pretty solid and he's not like fat. Yeah, Snuka, I mean, wasn't De Beers, was he in the angle where he wouldn't wrestle black wrestlers or have a black ref? Yeah, Moxley's legit. Claudio's someone who's probably pretty fucking good in a fight. Um, I mean, Jay Lethal's pretty solid dude. Yeah, Mad Dog Vachon, he was out of his mind. I mean, Iron Mike Sharp, that's a dude that, I wouldn't want to see, angry. He's not someone who like overly muscular, but just a big boy. Yeah, Drew McIntyre. Definitely someone that you would not want to piss off. I mean, Moxley seems like the type where you just couldn't hurt him. Like you could hit him in the head with a baseball bat, and he'd be like, "All right, what else you got?" And of course, some of the guys in like XPW, they're not the most known guys, but Schlack, if you are familiar with deathmatch wrestling, I've seen that guy take punishment, and like he's fine. He's drinking a beer after. Like there's nothing you could do to hurt him. Yeah, I mean, I remember Colonel De Beers. He'd always do this with his. I mean, I grew up watching World Class Championship Wrestling, so that's why I like the Iron Claw. I mean, Terry Gordy, that's a guy who you look at. Oh, he doesn't have the greatest body. I bet I could beat the shit out of him. But he's how could you hurt Terry Gordy? Like I'm talking in their prime. Um, and who was the other guy in the Freebirds? The lesser known. It was Michael Hayes, Terry Gordy, and what's the other guy from the Freebirds? Let me look that up. If William Zoom was in the chat, we'd already have an answer. But he was a pretty tough dude. I hate to do this, but I'm a one-man army here. The Freebirds. Let me look up the Freebirds. Piper, what's another tough guy? Buddy Roberts. That's not someone that he seemed like a fucking guy who could take a beating. Jimmy Garvin. Hello, Furbo. We're just talking wrestling and who'd be a guy not to fuck with. Yeah, I mean Terry Gordy. No, I was thinking of Buddy Roberts. I'm trying to think who else. I mean, there's so many tough guys in wrestling, like legit tough guys. Yeah, I think what was his name? George Saharian or something like that. I mean, yeah, but those muscle relaxers, like, they have to do that. I mean, back then it was like you either look like the Ultimate Warrior or we'll find someone who will. And the travel schedule's fucking nuts, man. I mean, it wasn't like today where I'm sure John Cena wrestles and then he gets on a plane and flies first class to New York to play MSG and then, takes a couple days off. And, I mean, back when the Ultimate Warrior and Kamala were traveling around, you had to wrestle in Madison Square Garden. And then the next night you're in fucking Jacksonville and you got to drive down there. And maybe Warrior would fly, but Kamala had to fucking drive with probably, Akeem and Slick. I'd love to set the over-under on how many times that car was pulled over. Bam Bam Bigelow, another guy. I mean, Beefcake was a big dude, but I could see him getting his ass kicked. I mean, Taz. Yeah, I mean, it's a brutal. Well, if you watch that very last Monday Night Raw, the Ultimate Warrior was on. I'm convinced he was trying to die in the ring to piss off Vince, just to fuck with him. I mean, he did not look very good. I think of myself as like the Ultimate Warrior of the stand-up comedy world. As soon as I forgive everyone, I'm going to die of a heart attack. But fuck it, that's why I don't forgive anybody. Hit the like button if you have not done so already. I wasn't expecting to get big numbers tonight because I realize it is a Tuesday night, but I'm still high off of the record-breaking stream Sunday night, the flagship stream of the Earlverse. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, I mean, you just can't. I mean, you got to figure the Ultimate Warrior probably took steroids for 20 years. And when you look like he did in his prime, who knows what he was taking? Probably growth hormone, It's not like he was just taking 10 cc's of Dianabol. Yeah, I mean, the Iron Sheik was a real-life bodyguard. Well, I appreciate that, Dr. Nova. I am not ripped, but I mean, you sell your soul to the devil, really, when you want to look like the Ultimate Warrior, or, the Road Warriors or Sid or, you know, any of those guys. I watched a fascinating documentary. I kind of had forgotten about this guy, but it's really good if you like wrestling, which I'm assuming the 23 people in chat do. Strongman Tom McGee. And it's funny because I kind of knew him from Gold's Gym in Venice, but he was a very good wrestler. I mean, for a guy his size, he did like these backflips, and he was like 280, and like he might have been the most athletic wrestler ever. And did pretty well in like those strongman ESPN contests. And then one night in Mar Vista, which is Jordan knows, Mar Vista is kind of a weird area. Like it's not like a nice neighborhood, but it's not a bad neighborhood. He got jumped, and like 6 guys beat the shit out of him. He was the one. If you've ever seen the Stone Cold movie with Brian Bosworth, he had the fight scene with Brian Bosworth. Massive dude, and always real quiet when I would see him at Gold's Gym. He was a trainer. But I guess he beat Bret Hart in like probably it was a non-televised match. So there's footage of it, but it's not like there's bootleg footage of it. And he's one of the great what ifs, or why wasn't he bigger? Mike Awesome's a dude who, I wouldn't want to see him pissed off. I mean, yeah, Vince was cutthroat back then. CB Project, when you're a paid regular at the Comedy Store, then you can give me career advice. Do we have our first troll of the night? I literally can't put out more stand-up than I do on YouTube. Let's see your stand-up. But I don't mind. I don't mind the trolls. I welcome all. See how nice this community is with no Dabbleverse bullshit? Well, these guys, I mean, no one ever thinks they're going to get old. I'm sure the Ultimate Warrior, when he's juicing in the back of Gold's Gym in Venice with Rick Bassman and Sting, you never think you're going to be 50. You always think, I'm going to be 20 forever. Okay. I mean, I had never seen it before, Ben. Oh, thank you. I'm glad it does. I mean, it was not an expensive mic. The boys from Win by Two, they corrected me. Sure mics, I guess, or this is a blue mic. It's only about $100 or something. So it's I guess it's better than just the iMac microphone. I'm trying to make this as visually pleasing as No, I work alone, CB. I don't have guests on this stream. I love how you insult my comedy and then you want to come on the stream. Out of control. Blue Yeti, yes, they're about $100. I said 150, and they jumped on me for saying it was worth more than it was. This is about $100. The Neumann T103 is about 1,100, 1,200. I forget. The Shure mics I have for the podcast, which I rarely do in person podcast anymore. I think they were about $90 or something. I don't think I could take any pro wrestlers in a fight, to be honest with you. I mean, I've done a comedy show with Jake the Snake. He's a big fucking guy, man. I mean, I'm not a good fighter, to be honest with you. I mean, my life or Lois's life would have to be threatened, and then I think I could hold my own against pretty much anybody. But hopefully, I don't have to find that out. Yes, I do have a deep, booming baritone. Yes. Well, I could probably take on Hornswoggle. I don't mind the trolls, Jordan. And I'm sure I could have more people in here, to be honest with you, if I sat there and talked shit and, this person sucks and that person sucks. And, name names or whatever, but it's just not my vibe. You want to roast me, or you want me to roast you back, you got to be in the same room. That's my motto. So yeah, Paul Bearer. I mean, I could probably take Paul Bearer. No, I just, start your own podcast, bro. Like, I'm reading everyone's question, and that's the whole point of a stream. This is my stream. My stream, you scream, I scream. Um, why would I want you on my stream? I don't know who you are. Like, it would not be a good stream. I can tell you. I've done this longer than you have. I'm not going to have someone I've never met who just insulted my comedy saying I'm a nobody, and then you want to be on my stream. Now, I realize you're trolling, but, like, come on. I don't care if you have there's a lot of comics who have a lot of subs who aren't funny. Now, I can't say you're funny or not funny. I don't know who you are. Brendan Schaub has millions of followers. Is he a good comic? So, I've never really I don't care how many followers someone has. You might have more subscribers than I do. You might get more listens than my stream. That's fine. Maybe he is Jeff Ross in disguise. I was just on a show with Jeff Ross the other night. People ask me all the time, is it awkward with me and him? Not really. It's not awkward for me. So you didn't upset me, bro. I just like I wouldn't go on your stream, insult you, and then say, "Hey, can I go on your stream?" Like what? Paul Baron Late was crazy. Yes, he was crazy. Absolutely. So yeah, we play it cool here. But listen, I appreciate the trolls. It doesn't matter. I'm a happy man. That's why I don't do the Dabbleverse shit. You guys can come in, talk nice, not talk nice. I wouldn't change my life for anyone in the stream. So, because I'm a happy guy. That's how I do it. Well, no. I mean, listen, I'd never had a guest on my stream. And I mean, I just had an interview request. Some comics publicist was like, "Hey, would you have this comic?" And oh, baby doll, I battled Jimmy Carr on television. This ain't combat with what we're doing right now. Hate to break it to you. And this ain't Earl mad. I can assure you of that. Oh, really? Indie Power is now going hybrid. That's the sign of the apocalypse, man. But I don't know. I drove a electric a Tesla. I didn't like it. Drove to Vegas and cheers. I didn't watch either show. In full disclosure, Sam Adams. Let me thank my fan funders, my tippers. Thank you, Jay Santos. That is it for tonight, but that's all right. Well, it just took a long time. Like we had to stop from LA to Vegas. We stopped probably 3 to 4 times each way. It's like I'd rather just pay for the gas, one shot each way. So, I mean that'd be interesting. I mean, I can imagine. I mean, we'll be interested to see where Mercedes goes. Uh, I would think. I mean, I just think AEW schedule is so much better for people because you can still do your outside interest. Um, I mean, if they could somehow get Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks, Jamie Hayter comes back, Britt Baker comes back, in addition to what they have now, that's a good women's division. And the Italian broad they just signed from, I think, Total, not TNA. Car question. I don't know much about either car, to be honest with you. I probably will watch the Richard Simmons documentary. Um, I mean, I watched Rampage. I mean, Rampage is clearly their B show, and I don't. It's tough to watch. But I understand you can't have all superstars on every show. But I mean, Rampage is it's not the best show. I mean, I used to go to his exercise studio for it wasn't necessarily aerobics, but it was like almost like a cross between yoga and cross training or whatever. But no, I've never met Richard Simmons specifically. So, but Polly does kind of look like him. So, yeah, you could see that. Sky Blues, I'd like to meet her. I mean, I got some friends in AEW. Someone hooked me up with Sky Blue or Abaddon. I'd like to see what Abaddon looks like without all that shit on it. It's got some pretty big knockers. Um, yeah, I mean, Richard Simmons, he makes Liberace look straight. But get those last minute questions, guys. Last minute questions. Want to do about an hour stream tonight. We're at the hour mark. Yeah, I like MJF as a heel better. I was hoping, like my idea for the devil, um, would have been Ziggler as the devil, Mustafa Ali, Riddle, and then the fourth, yeah, it wouldn't really matter. You could have Kyle O'Reilly because I think he's ready. Sean Spears, who I believe did play one of the Devil's henchmen in one of the attacks. I'll guess it was the Hangman attack because all four guys looked pretty big. And he might have actually been the Devil because if you look back, the first Devil attack against Jay White, he was pretty slender. Second attack against the Acclaimed, pretty slender. And then the last one, the Devil was jacked. So, now maybe they reached out to all those three guys and they just didn't want to do it. But, I think the problem with AEW is they've hit a ratings plateau. So you need to get WWE fans to watch the product. That would have done it. At least Ziggler is the Devil. A Ross Incognito, $4.99. How bad is the hood around SoFi Stadium? It's all blood and Crips. I mean, Englewood is probably the most gang infested area in maybe even in the country. That's why when AEW had their show at the Kia Forum recently, they did something at Englewood High. And I legit was reaching out to my AEW friends going, hey, be careful, man, that every other block is blood or Crip. And I'm talking, these aren't, um, sections of the Bloods or Crips are kind of dabble in the, pardon the pun, in the gang world. These are like rolling 60s, rolling 40s. I mean, it's no joke. I love Sean Spears. Met him at the Comedy Store. Great guy. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if AEW did that on purpose, Jordan, or not, but I mean, I guess it worked because, like, uh, with the first Devil attack against Jay White, people thought it was Britt Baker because it wasn't the Devil wasn't like the biggest person in the world. And then I could see the second attack maybe being Adam Cole because the Devil seemed a little bit bigger. But the third attack with Hangman was absolute. I would guess that might have been Shawn Spears. And I don't know who the other guys were, but they were. Uh, I mean, it could have been Mike Bennett and Taven um, and Wardlow, but two of them were real big. I don't know who, you know, I don't know who, but the two that picked up Hangman and threw him on the car were Wardlow and some other big dude. Um, I don't know about that, Dylan. I'm a Shawn Spears guy, the chairman of the board. Earl, Oakland, California is now. I don't know about that. I mean, I haven't been in and out of Oakland much, to be honest with you. And thank you, Ross Incognito, for that question. I mean, I've been to SoFi. Like, I went with the manager of the Comedy Store to the Steeler game, and we kind of cut through the neighborhood. It's not a neighborhood I would want to freelance in. But they are gentrifying it for sure. I mean, those, uh, what would it be? The west of SoFi Stadium, like the first couple blocks along Prairie Avenue, they're definitely nicer homes and whatnot, but still, like, those are the homes that are going to get robbed. So I don't, um, I mean, as an investment, it would probably be good. If you bought a home, like if you had the in on, hey, they're going to take down Hollywood Park, which I had a lot of good childhood memories from. I would go there with my dad a lot. But, you know, if 10 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, if you heard rumors of, hey, they're going to build a football stadium, the move was to definitely buy homes. I mean, you could probably buy homes before it was Hollywood Park or before it was SoFi Stadium or even the planning of SoFi Stadium for probably 200 grand. Those homes now are absolutely $1 million. So, real estate, you can, you would have had to know someone on the city council because there was also rumors they were going to build a stadium in not Eagle Rock, Irwindale. So, I'm sure there were people who bought homes in Irwindale. And now you're stuck with a home in Irwindale. It's possible, Jordan. It's possible. Very possible. Oh, no, Dylan, I'm not saying La Parker wasn't good. I'm just saying that, I love Shawn Spears. Well, so is Englewood, bro. I mean, LA has pockets of, Venice is another area that, there's a great YouTube. First of all, check out Jordan the Lion's YouTube page, the #1 travel vlogger in the land. But I would also like to plug this guy's YouTube page. I don't know him. It's called Hood War Stories. And he breaks down the neighborhoods, and it's really the gang neighborhoods. And Venice slash Santa Monica is a pretty rough area. And that used to be my hood, when I was dating a girl who lived in Santa Monica. You got the Shoreline Crips, you got any number of Hispanic gangs, MS-13, Culver City boys. You got Bloods in Venice. I think the Oakwood section is pretty. So Venice is weird because you can literally, like, the area, where is it, Rose and Hampton? That's where Gold's Gym is. There's like $2 million lofts right across the street from Gold's. You go one block, what would it be, south of Gold's Gym, and it's Tent City. And then you go one block past Tent City, it's back to $1 million condos. It's like literally every other block is good. So check out Jordan the Lion's vlog, Days with Jordan the Lion, and then Hood War Stories if you want to get an insight into the gang culture. I mean, so getting back to Ross's question, I mean, SoFi is not an area that I would, like when I was actually being serious. So at the last AEW show at the Forum, I'm walking to where my car was. I parked by the Sizzler, if you know where I'm talking about, which is right on the corner of Manchester and Prairie. And I see my buddy walking, and he's wearing all blue. I'm like, bro, you got to take that shit and turn it inside out because, I think the next couple blocks are blood territory. And he thought I was kidding. I'm not kidding, bro. Um, I will. I will. Um, so wake me up before you go. I'm not sure where they captured Richard Ramirez. I want to say they captured him in like Montebello or something. Um, but seeing guns in the store, like the Comedy Store, no, I've never seen that. Well, I mean, in LA, it's there's so many. Obviously the Bloods and Crips are the biggest gangs, but you have MS-13, you've got Armenian gangs in the Valley. There's a whole slew of gangs in the Valley. Actually, one of my good friends died. We all used to do a comedy show at the Canoga Park Bowl. Um, and one night there was a black guy who used to work. I don't even think he worked there. He just liked hanging out with the comics. His name was James. And it's funny enough, they did an episode on him in Hood War Stories. Um, and one night, I guess an Armenian gang had an initiation process where they were to kill a black person. And while James was taking out the trash during a comedy show we were all at, he was killed. So, it was just kind of a bummer. No, James was awesome. He just liked hanging around all the comics and shit. And the sad thing is he didn't even work there. Like he just took out the trash just to like, I don't know, have a reason to be there. Um so um oh yeah, you're right. Thank you, Boyle Heights. Um so you just the valley's its whole other, and the valley's not necessarily Bloods and Crips. It's more Armenian gangs, Hispanic gangs. I looked at a really nice condo in Van Nuys. I was thinking of making a move on, and so I went there at like 2 in the morning. With Lois, it's great to walk a dog around 2 in the morning because the cops drive by. They just think you're walking the dog, and so I'm walking around checking out the neighborhood, and there's like MS-13 graffiti on one of the garages in the condo complex. I'm like, I'm good. Um, so, uh, it's there are weird. I mean, West Hollywood. There's not gangs here, but in the alley at the end of my street, there's gang graffiti because they come here because they know there's a lot of money at the bars and nightclubs, and I think a lot of people who go to the bars and nightclubs here, they don't realize that it's permit parking, so their cars get towed, and then so they're walking around drunk, coked up, whatever they're doing, and they don't realize that, oh shit, my car's gone. So they're kind of stumbling around looking for their car, um, and then the thieves just jump on them. And the scary thing is, there's so many home invasions around here. And the sheriff's station I could throw a baseball and hit the sheriff's station. It's so close to me. And the thieves don't give a fuck. Like, to do a home invasion literally when the sheriff's station is a block away, like, but, you know, It's just, it's everyone's desperate right now. I mean, not everyone has money in the stock market or has a successful YouTube stream. Um, no, let's not. Listen, I don't care what you guys talk about in the stream, but you know, no arguing in this stream. Take that to fucking MLC or Chad or Ray's stream. This is a argue-free zone. Like, I don't care what you guys talk about, but like, I mean, I can't be honest with you. I can't afford the luxury condos in Hermosa Beach. You're talking 2 million and up, and 2 million gets you a fixer, quadruple A, 1945. I believe you're new to the scene. Oh yeah, I mean, Michael Ironside looked old 40 years ago. But the original choice for RoboCop, as I know Jordan and William Zoom know, but he was too big for the costume. That's Hollywood in a nutshell. Now, Peter Weller was a great choice, but Peter Weller literally got the role of RoboCop because he fit into the costume. Good for him. I'm no hater. I saw coyotes last night walking Lois in Beverly Hills. Sometimes I walk Lois, and there's a street called Oakhurst in Beverly Hills that has these giant mansions, and Lois loves running in the grass. Sometimes when I can't sleep, I'll take her there at 3 or 4 in the morning. I mean, I'm sure the cops think I'm casing the joint, but I have to be careful because they'll attack Lois. I mean, she's pretty small, so um, you know. Uh, oh yeah, I mean, Dustin Rhodes does fit into the costume. He's another guy that's a pretty tough dude. Like, he strikes me as just a tough guy. Like, you could hit him in the face and he wouldn't fucking feel it. Um, So that's another how's the mountain lion situation. Well, we don't get them in Beverly Hills. Like, I live in West Hollywood. To the west of me is Beverly Hills, but we get a lot of coyotes. We get a lot of possum in my neighborhood because of the trash. Everyone recycles and puts their trash out, so the possums are everywhere. And then if you go a little um, west of here, the coyotes hit the Beverly Hills area. Oh, can I get Rogue City for PlayStation 5? I might check that. Um, I love Michael Ironside. He was awesome in Top Gun. I mean, maybe Jordan's right. I don't know what he looks like now, but I was kind of hoping. That's one of the reasons I didn't like Top Gun Maverick. Like, the John Hamm character was kind of a loose version of Ironside and Tom Skerritt, and it just wasn't the same. Um, yeah, I love Mark Briscoe. Kind of, I mean, it's tough though. Like, when your whole career is a tag team, and I really think they should give him a partner, and maybe him and Jay Lethal. That'd be cool, um, because they've concentrated so much on the trios, um, division that they've kind of, like, I don't know, abandoned the tag team. But Big Bill and Ricky Starks, that's a good tag team. Sting and Darby Allin, FTR. Um, I don't know. I do like House of Black as trios because I love all three guys in House of Black. But um, I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I guess you could say House of Black could do it anytime they're in a tag match. It could be any two of the three. I really like Buddy Matthews. He just, for whatever reason, he reminds me of a bigger Kenny Omega. I do not love guys. Goy Poison. Sorry, I thought that said gay poison. That's gay, dude. I guarantee you I've gotten more pussy than you. Jordan can vouch for that. But we have our second troll of the night. Come on in, boys. The water's, I'm assuming you're a boy. Guy poison would indicate that you are a man. We're a little light on the women tonight, but that's okay. All good. Um, well, see, that's what I should do. I see. This is where the Kevin Brennan and me should kick in. If you want to troll me, you got to pay for the pleasure. So, but I'm so nice. I like to welcome everyone in. Um, Tracy's probably watching Vanderpump Rules. I don't like the shoot 'em up games. I like this. Really, the only game I play is Madden. You too, Rebel. Enjoy those Kirk Hammett leads. Wait, is that Tracy? Um, sorry, I can't read. If you want to troll me, you got to pay for it. The Kevin Brennan has just climbed inside of my body. I mean, I hope they don't go back to WWE. I like them in AEW. I mean, I saw Malachi Black and um, who's the big guy? The Tats, Rob, no, Brody King. I saw them wrestle at PWG, and it was pretty amazing. And I think the main event that night was Daniel Garcia against Takeshita. Um, so that's where I first was like, man, this Daniel Garcia guy is good. So um, there's a lot of good indies in Southern California. There's GCW, there's PC Ultra, there's PWG. Um, I think Ziggler is in GCW coming up. Um, so, there's all kinds of XPW, of course, but they've cut back on their California shows. I think they're at like every 3 to 4 months now. And then I'm sure there's some. Well, I saw Pretty Peter Avalon at Hollywood Championship Comedy. Um, I would say my number one song with a saxophone solo would be Thunder Road with the great Clarence Clemens on um, at the end. See if I can whistle it. I also like Clarence Clemens with it's an underrated Springsteen song. Uh, Be True. He does a great solo at the end of the song. And what Jungle Land. I mean, a lot of great Clarence Clemens solos, including Ian Hunter's All of the Good Ones Are Taken. So, and then Clarence Clemens, once again, he had a solo album song he did with Jackson Brown called You're a Friend of Mine. Well, I mean, Arthur too. I just, I don't know if there was really a need for Arthur too, but the first one was such a big hit. Like, I mean, really, it's like I don't know if there was need for all these Predator sequels. I mean, the first Predator movie was perfection. Um, but if you have a big hit with something, they're going to do a sequel. Like Deuce Bigelow, it was such a funny movie, but like the sequel is a little rough. But the first one was such a big movie, you knew they were going to do a sequel. So, Well, boys, we got 5 more minutes, and I'm going to shut it down. This has been a lovely Tuesday night stream. I appreciate the support. Let me thank my tippers for this evening. Jay Santos, Ross Incognito, 2 longtime soldiers in the Earl Army. I appreciate you guys. You guys have helped me in the streaming process reach all my hour goals. I think we just hit 4,000 hours last night, so I appreciate that. And I appreciate the support, trolls and all. Yes, you do. I think when someone super chats, I see it light up. Subs, I have a fair amount of subs. I think 2,200. It's not the most, but I'm working on it. I mean, since I've been streaming consistently, about, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago, I had, I think, 1,500 subs. So I picked up 700 subs in, like, I don't know, 4 months. It's not too bad. I don't necessarily have a goal in mind where I want 20,000 subs. I want this amount of subs, but, I mean, I've definitely noticed an increase. Where can I read those, Jordan? DM me on the Grammy. I mean, Dudley Moore did a lot of shitty movies, but he strikes me as someone who's probably a drunk, so it was probably like, um, probably pretty tough to work with. I mean, he was good in Foul Play. I mean, that was a Chevy Chase, Goldie Hawn movie, but I mean, I've seen some of the texts. I guess he texted her "No means yes" and "Take it, bitch," or "I own you. I'm the only one who can say who fucks you," and like it was like, ooh boy. I like when they asked Triple H at the press conference. He was like, "Hey, let's talk about the Rumble." I mean, I've got about 11,800 on Twitter. I've got relatively the same on Instagram. So, not the most amount, but there's many who have less. And I think I went on Social Blade and I checked Twitter and Instagram. I mean, I have 94% real followers, which is pretty good. Everyone knew what was going on. It's like in the world of stand-up. I know all the fucking predators and pigs, and like so does everyone else, but no one cares. Like I'm the only one that cares. When I say anything, my spots get taken away. So girls, you're on your own. I was pretty big on MySpace back in the Dizzy. Yeah, I forgot something got me a lot of followers really fast on MySpace. I forget what it was, but it was organic. But now every now and then I'll check my MySpace. It's kind of weird. They kept the pictures up. I'll have to start posting some of those on the Grammy on Wayback Wednesday. All right, guys, you got 1.5 minutes to ask me anything before I say nighty night. Don't let the bed bugs bite. So the Gravy Show. I believe you're a new fan of Inappropriate Earl or the Earlverse stream. Best CD in your collection, the Desmond Child box set, where you can hear him sing Love on a Rooftop, where he was playing a straight guy in the video. Get the fuck out of here. And I have some cool Kiss bootlegs. Now, this was back, before YouTube and, Kiss themselves has been releasing live off the soundboards to beat the bootleggers to the punch. But, back before bands were releasing like rare live shows, I have some great bootlegs. I have a Kiss Live San Bernardino 1984 show. It's so sped up because of Vinny playing so fast and Eric Carr on the drums. It's one of my favorite bootlegs. I mean, I guess the Desmond Child box set, it's 4 CDs. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to. The only reason I don't do that is because like I'm basically this is a talk show where you guys are asking me questions, so I don't think it would be interesting to for people to hear an audio of me asking or answering questions from a stream they can't see. But Inappropriate Earl is not dead. I just will do select Zoom interviews and thank you, Jordan. Yeah. I mean, there are some. There used to be. I've told this story before, but I see. Well, I did talk to Lala once when she wanted to pet Lois. We had a vibe. But there was a store in Westwood that sold amazing bootlegs called Mayhem, and I used to buy a lot. That's where I bought that Kiss Live in San Bernardino thing. And so one day I'm at Bel Air Country Club and I see Mike Douglas and I say, "Hey, Mr. Douglas, I saw Kiss on your show the other night. They were really good. I'd never seen that interview before." And some small talk. And he's like, "Hey, Earl, I'm not in syndication right now. Where'd you see that show?" I'm like, "Oh man, there's this great store in Westwood. It's awesome. It's called Mayhem." So I go home that night, and Mike Douglas calls me. I'm assuming he called Bel Air Country Club and said, "Hey, can I get Jim Skakel's kid's number?" And he's like, "Oh, what was the name of that store again?" I'm like, "Mayhem. It's in Westwood. Here's the phone number." And I go by like 2 days later, and Mayhem had shut down. I shut it down. But this was before, I mean, it was wild that they were open. I mean, you walk in there and you'd have bootleg CDs, not bootleg posters, but rare like European posters you couldn't get anywhere else. And a lot of people. I'll leave you guys with this story because I got to watch Vanderpump Rules, man. Once again, thank you for my tippers, my big fat tippers, Jay and Ross Incognito. So one night, my friend Brent Fitz, who currently is drumming for Slash, and I believe Brazil right now. I mean, Slash got to make that money, honey. When you marry a stripper with no prenup and have kids, you got to make that money, honey. So we're there to see at the Key Club, which used to be Gazzari's. It was Gazzari's, then became Billboard Live, and then now is One Oak, but it's like a completely vacant nightclub. Yes, Quadruple A. Indeed, it was right by Westworld. I mean, it's amazing that looking back, I'm like, how was this store able to operate legally? But that was in like the gray area of bootlegs and stuff like that. Like it was just kind of. I mean, I look back now, well, that's illegal. They're making money off Mike Douglas, but Mike Douglas isn't getting any money. No wonder he was pissed. And Mike Douglas was loaded. But one thing I've known about rich people is the richer they are, the cheaper they are, and the more they want to get paid. Which is why I never had a problem with Metallica going after Napster. It's like, hey, we work hard on these fucking songs. You like them, pay for them, bitch. It's like I work hard on these streams. Throw me a few shekels every now and then. It's not the money. No one's gonna get rich streaming, but it's whatever. It's like I mean, and the number one thing you heard, well, Metallica don't need the money. They're rich. It's like, well, it's not the point whether they need the money or not. So that's why I was uniquely a team Lars, even though he could have done it in a better way. Yeah, I mean, Jordan, forget about me. You look at Jordan's YouTube page. I mean, the guy edits the videos perfectly, puts music on them, and um, travels all around to make these well done videos. Probably spending a fortune in gas and plane tickets and all kinds of shit. So throw him some money. Yeah, I know him. He don't need the fucking money, but like it's a lot of money laid out to provide entertainment for you guys. Um, so I mean, I'm a little less mobile than Jordan, but and I'm not gonna lie and say I had anything great to do tonight. But I could have just watched Vanderpump Rules and not done a stream. But I've entertained you guys for an hour and 35 minutes. Even talked to the trolls for free. So the next stream I will do a troll, the Kevin Brennan style. You want to troll me? Come on in. $5. Dabbleverse talk, $30. I have to put a financial tiered system in here. Well, and I think they won. I think they basically bankrupted Napster. So I don't know if they won actually, because I don't know if they got any money from that guy Sean, whatever his name was. I wish that's definitely something I wish I would have had. I mean, looking back now, I should have had you just not that you wanted to follow me around, but like obviously pay you for your time and shit. But I look back now, yeah, fuck, I should have filmed the whole weekend. But now you guys wonder why I go on at 4 a.m. at the Comedy Store. Erotic readings, $100, 100%. A live table read of the Predator. If someone gets me the script, that might be $500. It could be. I'll play all characters. You guys want some of this? This stuff will make you a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus, just like me. Hey, strap this on your sore ass, Blaine. Well, I mean, I think because Metallica made so much fucking money, even then, I mean, they've made money consistently since really the mid 80s. So, I think people like I'm an artist of sorts. I'm a stand-up comic. Jordan is a vlogger. You guys in chat and girls, if there are any, you should be paid for whatever your gig is. Commando would be slightly less than the movie Predator. It's not as iconic, but it's up there. So Commando table read would be I would start the stream and I would need to see $250. But I don't know where you would get a script of. I'm sure Jordan would direct me into getting a script of the movie Commando. Do you know what today is, John? Payday. It's the great Vernon Wells. Check him out on an episode of Inappropriate Earl. But see, I don't care, quadruple A, if Lars grew up in a wealthy neighborhood. Like, he works hard. I mean, he should be paid. If you like Metallica's music, pay for it. If you like my streams, not necessarily pay for it, but like, do I necessarily need, the 50 to $100 I make per stream? No. But, it's still nice to be compensated for your time. I mean, I've done comedy for 25 years, and most of that was for free or paying to do it. Driving to San Diego, driving to Hood River, Oregon for $100. And you think, at the time it sounded right, but it's about $200 in gas. So I'll leave you guys with this story. So we're at the Key Club, which was formerly Billboard Live, which was formerly Gazzari's, where Van Halen, Rat, Shark Island, they all got their start. And Brent Fitz is drumming for Vince Neil. So we go see Vince Neil. We're backstage. We're chopping it up. Bruce Kulick goes, Earl, let's get out of here. So we start leaving. And I see Frankie Wilczek's from, you're right, I left out the Key Club. It was In order, it was Gazzari's, Billboard Live, Key Club, One Oak. So I see Frankie Wilsex from the band Stephen Pearcy's post-Rat band Arcade. Some of you might know him from the band The Sea Hags. And I said, Bruce, I'll meet you up there. I'm going to talk to Frankie because I wanted to tell him how much I like the Arcade song Cry No More. It's a great ballad. I heard the news, they told me on a Sunday. Open my eyes, the skies, they turn to gray. I count the years, they go so slowly by me. Will I ever see you again? Ooh, so lonely. Ooh, so lonely. When I was young, my mama always told me to speak the truth and never tell a lie. Now that I'm old, and then I forget the rest. So I start talking to Frankie, and then we hear gunshots. The whole club goes into the middle of sunset. Bruce Kulick is lying on the ground, wound in his leg and a little bit of blood by his temple. So the bullet grazed his temple. And, I mean, this is 30 seconds after he got shot, and we're all gathering around Bruce. Bruce, you okay? What do you need? And, his leg wound was bleeding profusely. So everyone looks at me. I had like an $800 Versace shirt on, like think Steve Stevens style. And everyone looks up at me. Earl, take off your shirt. Bruce needs it as a tourniquet. And I just remember looking down at Bruce going, hey, Bruce, how bad is it? And people looked at me like, come on, man. So I took off my $800 Versace shirt. They used it as a tourniquet. And we went to the hospital with Bruce that night. Well, yeah, it's probably a little too soon to ask for the shirt. So I go back the next day. And I'm like, hey, I'm here to see Bruce Kulick. He's all right, right? He's alive. Oh, yeah, he's fine. He's recovering. I'm like, hey, now that I know he's all right, what do you guys do with the gunshot victims' clothing? And like, oh, we just throw them away in the biomedical bin. I'm like, where's that? Oh, it's in the basement. So I went to the biomedical bin, no gloves on, no covering of any kind. And I started rummaging through, I don't know, all this bloody shit. And I got my shirt back. I'll tell you that much. Cinderella also did a live performance at the Key. Cinderella live at the Key Club. Warts and all, like they didn't take out any of the flubs or overdubs or whatever. So check that out. Cinderella live at the Key Club. I mean, there's no covering up. It's actually a pretty good album. So well, there you go. Pennywise stealing from Cinderella or vice versa. So, all right, you kids, we're going to go to 1 hour and 45 minutes. You got 2 minutes left in the third period. 2 minutes left to ask Earl Skakel anything you want. The stains did come out. I probably could have, looking back, I probably should have kept the stains in and then sold it on eBay for a couple hooves. But I wasn't that forward thinking back then. So, but you live and learn. You live and learn. So thank you guys for tuning in tonight. This was a pretty drama-free zone tonight. We had a couple trolls, but that's fine. I don't engage with trolls. You know that by me, by now. And from now on, there's a couple Dabbleverse chats or questions are $30 and up. If you want to troll me for my career, it's $5 and up. Otherwise, you can talk amongst yourselves for free. It was a good album, Quadruple A, because you could. And now I don't have a great music ear, but you could definitely tell like where they hit the wrong chord or something, and they left it in there. So I like it. What's the other? Oh, I'm sorry. I almost didn't see that, Dr. Nova. The oldest pair of leather pants I have in my arsenal is a pair of Balmain. That's Balmain custom fit. Trust me on that one. That I bought Barney's 4th floor from Rodolfo. Probably 10 years old. And God forbid if you ever watch Roast Battle again, I'm upset that I threw these pants away. I gave them to Goodwill. My TV stage worn silver pants that I believe I beat Jimmy Carr in are somewhere out there at a Goodwill. I miss them very much. If you watch the video for Steve Stevens and the Top Gun theme, he had a silver outfit on. The pants looked just like what he was wearing. Well, Barney's 4th floor was legit. And now Barney's I think it's becoming a condo building or something. It's really like sad. That 4th floor was the real deal. But then I noticed toward the end of Barney's, they were hiring like young kids and like their service sucked. And, it was just like, oh man, this isn't gonna last long. And they started selling like, like they went from selling like YSL and Barbados and other, All Saints to like FUBU and like urban wear. And I'm like, oh man, that's not going to last long in this neighborhood. Like, because it's a incredibly white neighborhood where it's Beverly Hills, and the kids were urban that worked there, the brothers, and that's fine. I don't care about that, but their service sucked. Like, you're buying. One of the great things about Rodolfo was he knew Daddy was spending money, so he was up my ass. And like when I walk into Barbados on Melrose, it's all hands on deck. Trust me on that one, kids. Yeah, I think I went to that Barney's outlet in Camarillo, and I don't know. It wasn't that good. I mean, now I'm, Barbados, and I use a girl by the name of Brooke Worrell. You can check out her stylings at All Hell's Breaking. All Hell. Go on my Instagram and look at my friend All Hell's Brooke Loose. I think that's her Instagram. She custom makes my shit. So, I'm a fashionista. Fashion comedy. Am I the greatest comic of all time? You know what? Probably not. But I guarantee you will remember me the most when you go to the Comedy Store, usually. I can't get booked at the Improv or Laugh Factory, but what am I going to do? I can't compete with Instagram models who have 5 minutes. I love how I can do an hour at the Comedy Store and the main stage following celebrity comic after celebrity comic after celebrity comic, and I can't get booked at the Improv. And the Laugh Factory books Piven. I used to go to that so much. Do we know each other, Quadruple A? You're dropping a lot of local knowledge that I'm familiar with. Oh, thank you, Northwest Ken. Yeah, Loredana was awesome. She just, it's, just a sad story, But, like I said in the show last night, I had dinner with her and the guy who killed her, and, there was a simmering boil to him, and I talked about it on the show last night. It was a very O.J. Nicole vibe. So, I mean, there's no way after going to dinner with him that I thought, oh, he's going to kill her soon. But he killed her pretty soon after that dinner. So, I'm not dirty, Quadruple A, but I don't get. They have this thing where they do like 20 comics doing 5 minutes each. I'm not doing that. I'm not driving to her. I'm not driving 45 minutes to do 5 minutes. So I have been booked there, and it's a great place to get a tape. In fact, one of my early clips that is still on YouTube is from the Hermosa. It's where I'm wearing the green plaid shirt. That was from the Hermosa Club. So yeah, I've heard the CBGB location in New York's pretty dope. An unnamed female sent me pictures of the Varvatos store in London. It's like, wow, it's like 4 stories. I'm like, I would love to go there. So did you ever? I have a leather trench coat. If you go on JeanVarvatos.com and you look up the David Bowie collection, I just bought a leather trench coat that Steve Stevens would be proud of. It's one of my favorite jackets. And I wear it frequently on stage. By the way, I'll be on stage Saturday night at the Comedy Store. Please, if you are local or visiting Los Angeles, come as my guest. It's really easy. You can look me up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Patreon, YouTube. Bam! Earl Skakel. It's very easy to support me. And it doesn't always have to be financially. I'll tell you what, the next stream, Dr. Nova, I will wear it. It's a fucking amazing jacket. And here's the beauty of it is Varvatos from time to time will do these boutique collections. And they did a collaboration with the David Bowie, not foundation, but the David Bowie foundation's not the word I'm looking for, but the David Bowie, I don't know, will or whatever. And so it's limited edition, so they only made 200 of each. There's a satin like bomber jacket they did. Have it. Why do you think I got to do these streams, man? Daddy needs to pay for the next leather. And then they have it's fucking beautiful, man. It is a 3/4 trench coat, all leather, velour inside. Do you have an 8-ball jacket back in the day? I did not. I was not the fashionista I am today. Like back in high school, I would wear members only when it was happening. And I think what got me really fashion forward. Yes, Garnett, you can watch hockey with me. It's a hidden Easter egg tier level of my YouTube membership. It's only $100 and you can come to my house and watch a hockey game with me. But you got to find it. So estate. That's what I was thinking. They did a coordination with David Bowie's estate, but it's limited edition. So they only made 200 worldwide of each of the bomber jacket, the leather jacket. Like just as an example of how rare it is, Varvatos in West Hollywood only got, I think, like 5 of each. And then I'm sure the New York store got, whatever they got. And then I'm sure the store in London got a little more because, they're Bowie specific. So it's like, listen, I'd rather buy a leather jacket than gamble or do drugs. I have more fun. So hello, Wheezy Jefferson in the house. Wheezy, I'm just about to, Boss Hog level. Let's just say when the Bowie collection came out, I was offered an exclusive preview. They know how to butter daddy's bread. So that's why I'm glad I'm monetized now. And after hitting the 4,000 hours, sorry, were the ads obnoxious tonight? I guess this is the first stream where they're running ads. I hope they weren't. They gave me a choice of 3 different tiers of how they run the ads. I picked the middle one, which is the recommended one. There's another one. Okay, good. There's another one, I guess, is fairly obnoxious, but it's the most profitable one. And then there's one below what I picked that is not profitable, but they barely run it. So I do appreciate you guys. I'm really trying not to make this all about money, 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 money. So that's why I picked the middle tier. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem, Kongzilla. I don't have a suit. So, like, anytime I go to a wedding or a funeral, I'm wearing like all weather. And people look at me like, what the fuck? But, it's just who I am. I take a lot of my fashion inspiration from Steve Stevens, who, like, if you see Steve Stevens, like, he lives in Vegas now, but like when I would see him on the strip, he would dress like he was about to walk on stage, like got the leather bell bottoms, the shirt buttoned down to, half of his chest is showing. Like, he don't give a fuck. So that's how I am. You want me at a funeral? I went to a high-end funeral uh, about 2 months ago. I was in all leather. It was boiling my ass off, but I look good. Yeah, I don't know. I could see that happening, Wild Arms. So, all right, you guys, this has been the Earlverse stream. We did about 2 hours tonight. Not bad. Pat Dixon is on, so if you're still jonesing for more streaming choices, please go to Pat Dixon's stream. And then, as you know, Sunday nights is the flagship stream for the Earl Skakel Earlverse. And then we do, I'm going to try and do one at least Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Maybe take Monday off. I'm not going to do it every day. I'm not going to do it 6 out of 7 nights. Yeah, Elvis, mama, Elvis. I don't know how he fit into those leathers. A few extra cows were killed for his shit. So I thank you guys. Thank you, Jay and Ross, for the tips. Much appreciated. Everyone, including the trolls, have a good night. Go to Pat Dixon's channel. And this has been Earlverse, the stream that's about everything and nothing at the same time.